Good day, everybody. I hope you're doing well. So great to be able to spend Sunday with all of you. A little bit of love from Apollo here as we're getting started. My name is Nicholas Ashbaugh. We're going to be taking a look at the weekly forecast. And this is going to help us through the next 7 days. Plus, you guys picked a really cool topic today, which was a way to kind of breathe in opportunity, exhale any doubt or any blocks that might be standing in the way. So we'll be looking at that after we get through the channel messages and after we get through the forecast. So let me just mute my side monitor here and put Apollo down. And welcome everyone. How are you doing today? Are you feeling the equinox energy? Because I know I am today. It was one of those mornings where it was a little bit tough to get out of bed. I definitely wanted to just sort of like be at peace and take care of myself. So I will say, be kind and be gentle with your body and with yourself today. And this is a really good day to set intentions and to let things go. So we're going to do a little bit of both today, okay? As I said just a moment ago, we're going to start off with channeled messages. And I did receive interesting things in respect to kind of like work and contracts. And I'm going to try to help you guys sort that out first, and then we'll get into all of the other messages. So this is very much aligned with what was chosen. This happens a lot because I'm tuning into the energy of you guys. So it's about contracts. And a lot of this has to do with breaking some old, I would say for some of you, releasing the old contracts and breaking free of some of the limitations of the past, particularly when it comes to work. And I could have put like self-worth and money because all of those things are definitely connected. So I was shown a lot of sort of work scenarios in my dreams last night, and they had to do with loyalty was a big piece of this. So could you trust people? There was one dream where I saw like a superior asking someone to report back on what people were doing. So that kind of thing where you're put in a situation where you think you don't want to be caught in the middle. I saw some other sort of struggles between power and compensation coming through, which invariably comes because of worth, self-worth, and things of that nature. Today, and as we look at future opportunities, I think one of the things that's coming through is to look at life beyond the job that you have, the title that you have, the money. These things don't come with us. They don't hold a lot of importance out of, they can make life comfortable, but they don't necessarily make life better. So we want to look beyond that and really try to lean into doing what feels right for you. And again, I am speaking from experience because I talked about this a little bit in the video I posted yesterday for Capricorn. When it was time for me to make a decision to move into doing what I'm doing now, about 8.5 years ago or so, I had to keep explaining to people, to friends, to human resources, to my boss, to other people, like, do you know what you're doing? Like, you're walking away from your career, some people even said. And I was like, no, I'm walking towards. I didn't talk about this in the Capricorn one, but this is really what felt good to me. And it was basically, I'm walking towards opportunity. I'm walking towards the true me. I see something really exciting happening. So if you need to walk towards something bigger, better, brighter, do it. And first things first, though, if you said you were going to do something, finish it up. So complete old contracts, make sure that any debts, contracts, etc. are finished so you don't have to repeat the cycle in the future. And at a certain point, take a deep breath and let it go. And that's what we're focusing on today, is letting it go. And there you go. I remember when I first started doing this, I couldn't care less right now, but like when I first started doing it, I thought, well, I wonder what will happen if my colleagues see what I'm doing. I hope they do. I hope they get some value out of it. Hi, if they're there. But back in the day, it was something that I worried about. I don't anymore. There actually are a few friends that watch this from my old work days, but the ones that you don't really care about judgment anymore. That's something that I got through. So in with the new. Today's focus, the reading, the topic you chose for me to look at is expansive. I could have put the world, but I put the magician here because it's about you kind of mixing things up and shaking things up. We're going to look beyond the present. That's why we show up here. You don't need me to tell you what's already happening. Whatever things that are kind of like blocking you, challenging you, or irritating you, they are not indicative of the end point, the destination, or the opportunities, which is also what we're looking at today. So set some intentions, see yourself as a creator, not just a participant. And as we look at things today, we'll kind of like dig a little deeper into all of that, okay? Let me go ahead now and take a look here and see which deck I'd like to use for the 7-day forecast. So the next piece that we're going to do is the week ahead, just because I think I'll use this newer deck. I used it for the single card pull, and many of you liked it. So, okay, let's go ahead here and get started. Yeah, walking towards opportunity. I think that's a great way to look at change. Okay, so let's get everything set up here. Bring the mic closer so you can hear me. And let me just get to the day markers. Okay, so we're going to start off with this Sunday. We have the Sun card in reverse. This is about letting go of something that you might have been holding on to. This is a birthing card. It can also be a card of love. In the old Morgan Greer deck, you'll see two people in front of a brilliant sort of sun. And so this is a chance to, again, sort of like allow someone else into your life. Sometimes we hold on to things way too long. It could be a project, it could be a dream, a thought, whatever it is, even an old habit. Today's a day to let go of that and to really birth or try or embrace something new. And when you embrace something new or embrace the true you, someone else can embrace that same energy and come forth. The sun is a very attractive card. I like to remind people of the function that it serves in our little tiny solar system. It's the glue, and its light, its gravity, its energy holds everything together. So if you allow yourself in this moment in time, you too can pull things in. And I did a meditation with a friend about, sometime last week. And one of the end pieces, I kind of did this on my own, but I just imagined myself going to the most expansive state, which was like light, and imagine like the biggest, brightest star. We might do this in our meditation today. Reaching to all ends of the universe. Like we really are limitless beings. So if anyone in your life told you you weren't good, smart, prepared, able enough, etc., let it go today and just think, I am able to find a way to make this happen, and I just have to look for the right channel. And that's the kind of focus today. If there's anyone in your life that's a little bit self-focused, we'll say, this is a day to pull back. There are people around you that are willing, ready, and able to take as much as you're willing to give, so you have to have proper limits. Mostly this is a day for beginnings, and the sun is showing that it's one of the baby cards in tarot. Let's move on to the first day of the work week, Monday. We have the Empress in the reverse state, self-care. Love all of the abundance flowing through this beautiful card. This is a day to really nurture yourself, pamper yourself, and also never underestimate your worth or value. I'm sure there are people in your life that may not be aware of what you're doing, maybe because you make it seem so easy. This is especially true for those of you that work in a supporting role, whether it's you're an aide or an administrative assistant or a parent, or you're just a behind the scenes person like in production or whatever. You're the glue. We just talked about it with the sun. And sometimes you have to step back a little bit. And this is especially true if you take a day off or something like that. It's important to see the absence of someone sometimes, to see like, oh, where's that person? Oh, wait, oh my gosh, we call them up. We need them. Give them a raise. So take care of yourself. A self-care day is really important now especially. This is also saying try not to worry so much about other people's business. And it's a nice way from Spirit to say you focus on you, let them focus on themselves. When and if they are ready, they can come to you. Empress and Queen of Wands energy, when reversed, can be a little overly involved or bossy. It's like a helicopter mom or a helicopter boss. So this is really reminding you to not emanate that energy. And if someone around you is, basically take a step back, create some boundaries, and let them know you've got this, okay? And also let them know that if they don't give you a chance to prove your value and your worth, it's going to be really difficult for you to ever step into that. So there we go. Let's move on to Tuesday. So beautiful energy here, the Ace of Wands. This is beginnings, basically. Ideas coming to the forefront. It's a really good day for planning. Some of you might also be, well, we see partnership on this card. If you happen to have a first date or an important face-to-face meeting, Ace of Wands is good. That's shared, both like being on the same mental page, but also shared passions. So I want to see the Ace of Wands in relationships. That's physical compatibility. That's sort of like what we're looking for in addition to all of that. So great day to spark your imagination, great day for passion, great day for a date, good day to get something started. So if I know I had a few days last week where I was dragging my feet, something didn't happen. For those of you that wished that you could have made something work last week, Monday, just rest up a little bit, finish what you need to. But Tuesday, that's the day to turn on the light switch. That's when the light bulb fires up. That's when some good stuff happens. So if you had a setback last week, you won't have that same issue coming through on Tuesday. Let's go to midweek. We have the Sun or the Knight of Wands. And again, we're looking at Wednesday. And so for this one, we just took this idea to the next level. On this card, we have what looks like either crocodiles or alligators. And we have someone trying to kind of go in the middle of all of these. Sometimes it can be a little bit competitive. That's what I'm getting with this energy. So, and I did also pick up on that in my dreams where there was this sense of needing to prove worth or power. And beware the crocodiles, beware the alligators, be accountable, be honest, also just have integrity and lead with integrity. And if other people around you are lacking that, let the alligators snap at each other. You don't have to get involved in that. Walk the high road with this, okay? A knight will lead by example, will do the right thing, and will focus on making the necessary changes. When I had the Out with the Old card, I had the Death Major Arcana card on that. I like to remind people, and we talked about this a little bit in yesterday's reading, that the Death card is a knight actually too, and it's leading the change. People forget that. Let's pull the card up just for reference. Let's see just for a second, because sometimes this card is, well, not that, hold on. Let me get the presentation back up. Sometimes people forget that, it is about change and movement, and they're focusing on the fear element of it. And here we go. And it really is about this ability to embrace opportunity. So it's marching in on a horse, it's creating necessary change, and good things typically come from that. Okay? All right, just wanted to bring that back up for a moment because sometimes we don't realize that it is an agent of change and it is bringing forth the necessary movement. Moving on to Thursday, we have Temperance coming through. This is a really different, I'm sorry, it wasn't Temperance. It's the Three of Baskets, Three of Pentacles. Need to look with my glasses. So Three of Pentacles is a really, really good energy for recognition, completion of a goal, and for those of you that are looking for possibly moving into training or teaching, this is good for both. The baskets in this particular deck are really cool because it shows that you may be sort of like having an element of surprise with sharing a bit of knowledge, sharing a bit of experience with someone, and they could see a part of you that they didn't see before. Typically, there's a focus on the recognition or the completion here. And when the card is reversed, it's saying like, yeah, don't forget about like the fine details and everything, but it's also saying do something because it feels right, not because you're expecting any sort of recognition or trying to repeat history. This is something new. And keep an open mind and think out of the box. So the baskets are like boxes. So think outside of the box. And that's going to be something that's really helpful for you. Okay? Oh, you're right. I guess it's a new deck. We have the Three of Cups in this one. This is why I shouldn't have used a new deck for today on this one. Well, we're going to read a little bit of both. I would argue too that with the baskets here, that it just looked like the Three of Pentacles to me. Three of Cups, all that I just said, you can still apply pieces of this. Like you may be needing to focus on your work, but don't worry so much about recognition. When we're looking at cups, here's the thing. It's a much different read for this. So the thing that could get in the way of all that we just talked about is gossip, rumors, focusing on being part of the popular group, doing something because of peer pressure. So thanks for the person that called that out in chat. Three of Cups reversed is it can sometimes be like the popular kids at school, the mean girls, the mean boys, the crowd that is on the sidelines, but not necessarily welcoming people in. So you want to be the opposite of that. You want to be inclusive. You want to focus on doing what's right. You want to lead by example. And you also want to make sure that if there's someone that's trying to kind of get in the middle of something important, that you don't let that ruffle your feathers. Continue to have the strong energy that came through at the beginning of the week with the Empress here. All right, let's focus now on Friday. As we look at Friday, we have the Mother of Coins. You're right, coins are pentacles. And we have the Beekeeper here. So with this one, this is really great, actually, the Beekeeper. Queen Bee energy coming through, particularly when it comes to finances, work, anything that you really want to see something happening with. And it's also saying slow down, enjoy the sort of sweet success that comes with all the hard work that you've been doing, okay? So I do like that. The other thing here is so this Beekeeper isn't the Queen Bee. They're basically engaging with, it's almost like this, it's a continuation of the Three of Cups that we just had right before that. So this is someone who is knowing how to kind of treat a situation, not necessarily with kid gloves, but with understanding that I'm not going to shake up this particular group because they have a very specific way of doing things. I'm going to come through, present what I need to do, get whatever I need, and move out of it. There comes a point where we can't change environments sometimes. And know what you can change, know what you can't change. Friday's a great day for you to work on your own. It's a great day for you to, as I said, if you need to get into a group and present something, great, but know how to get in, know how to get out, know how not to get stung or burned in the process here. So leaning into your wisdom is really key, and respecting existing establishments even when you don't agree with them. There are certain things like when you think of, I talk about an easy example, when you need to travel, you need a passport. To get a passport, you typically have to deal with laws, rules, and regulations of certain countries. To work and live in another country, you may need a green card or some sort of visa, and there are rules and regulations. These are things that we can't quite change. We have to learn how to deal with, and you have to learn how not to get stung in that. So especially dealing with legal matters, corporate matters, or governmental matters, follow the rules, basically is what this card is saying, and take care of yourself. It's going to be better in the long run. All right, focusing now on what we have here for next weekend, Saturday. We have the Eight of Baskets. Knowing now that baskets are cups in this deck is super important, and it makes sense here. This is making and breaking cycles. It's kind of interesting to look at. I mean, it makes sense because anything that can receive would be like a receptacle, like cups. But baskets are much like baggage. So this is walking away from the baggage, right? Which is kind of what we're trying to focus on today. So everything is leading up to this opportunity for you to step into a different direction or give yourself a little space. Before you make any major decisions, Eight of Cups is good. I talked about this before I purchased my bed and my mattress. I probably did 2 or 3 visits to look at it in person, like the bed frame. And then when I tried out the mattress, I said, I'm pretty sure I want this. I'm coming back tomorrow. I need to think about this. Person gave me their card, no problem. They were kind of surprised I actually did come back the next day. I was like, no, I really just needed to sleep on a major decision because I don't want to make that big choice when I was too needy and too connected to it, and I really wanted to think about the 3 options that I was looking at. I usually do the same if I'm buying equipment, things of that nature. I'm like, okay, let's just walk away from it and I'll come back tomorrow. So do that if you have a major decision. Sleep on it. Get some distance. Before you decide if you're going to quit or if you're going to start something or whatever you're going to engage with. See what else is out there. See if you still feel the same way tomorrow. And if you do, then you know what to do. All right. So now we'll focus on the energy for next Sunday. That's so weird. All these 3 cards, they all look like 3 of Cups to me as I'm looking at the illustrations. But we have the 3 of Wands here. And the 3 of Wands is, it's a lot different in the traditional deck. So you know me, I love to go back to the Rider-Waite-Smith one. But 3 of Wands is basically saying what you seek is here. Or it's so close that all you have to do is change your perspective. This is the one card that I think is better in this deck here because it really illustrates the fact that your ships are coming in. Look at how bright this is. Typically, when you have any of the bright yellow cards, good things are coming through in tarot. It's like the dawn of a new day. This could come in the form of partnership. So we had the 3 of Cups earlier this week. That 3 of Cups could pay off in a different way. So this could be you networking a little bit, what's the best way to kind of communicate this? It's like shopping around an idea and putting it out there in the world. So know that whatever it is that you seek, whatever it is that you're looking for, it's far closer than you might imagine. Okay? So to that end, let's go ahead and use maybe the Rider-Waite-Smith one for the next portion. We're going to move on to the elemental forecast. And the elemental forecast, of course, is going to allow us to look at fire, earth, air, and water. So let me just use a bright version of Rider-Waite-Smith here, the Modern Witch deck. We'll see what's coming through. So there we go. Okay, let's give the cards a shuffle and see what's coming through here. This is going to be the only portion today that is specific to any signs. Everything else is for all who are present. Someone's a little bit behind. Yeah, we already talked about the 3 of Baskets. Sorry, first time reading with this deck. Typically, I don't do that live. And that is why. It's also my pet peeve. Just call them. I'm fine with fire, earth, air, or water, but otherwise, wands, swords, pentacles, we don't need to rename things. That's my one thing with people that create new decks. Just call them the same thing. I don't want to have to learn it for every single deck that I pick up, even though I've been reading for like forever here. All right, so we have fire, earth, air, and water. Let's focus on fire first. Okay, this is Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. We have the 3 of Pentacles here. The 3 of Pentacles is in the reverse state. This is what I was picking up on incorrectly with the 3 of Baskets. So lo and behold, what I just said a few moments ago still holds true for you. It's exactly what I said earlier, but let me add some new things here. One of the things here is to actually put things into writing or into kind of like bring them into fruition. So what are you doing right now to plan, to articulate, to present whatever it is that you're downloading from spirit? So your higher thought, your higher vision, it's coming through right now and it's saying, okay, let's actually create an action plan. For those of you that are writers, this is very much connected with you. So this is saying this is a great week for you to complete something, to finish something. We can also connect it with the Ace of Wands energy that came through on Tuesday. Okay, so I'm happy that psychically perhaps I was picking up on the 3 of Pentacles anyway. So all that I said at that first portion for the 3 of Baskets still holds true, especially for Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. And additionally, when I'm looking at this card, it's also about maybe going counter to what people are telling you. So if you know something really needs to be done a certain way and there's an old school or old way of doing it, maybe what you're doing is breaking down, those old barriers and trying something different. Okay. All right, let's move from fire to earth, Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. Speaking of that, we have here the Hierophant, and I talked a little bit about existing structures. This one definitely holds true for that. So feel free to push back on, this can be parents or teachers or society when they're trying to push you to do something that's not you. As I said earlier, there are certain things where you still have to go through, like taxes and official documents, and there are some structures you can't change. There are some that you can. And there are also moments where you have to think beyond what was kind of dictated as, you know, sort of like the gospel. Here's an example. Galileo or any of the scientists or any of the sort of mathematicians that would sit down and think, this isn't it. There's something more. It's not popular. It's counter to the establishment. But that counter-establishment mentality is what allowed us to see that the Earth moves around the sun. The sun doesn't move around the Earth. That, you know, the Earth is... No comments about flat Earth, but the Earth is round, folks. The universe is expanding, and the sun is at the center of our solar system. So it allows us to think beyond the old the old way. And science is constantly asking questions, skeptical, optimistic, curious, and it's thinking what else could be and why not. So this is a week to think about stuff like why not, what else is there, and why do people keep saying I can? Is there a way that I can do it? That little bit of rebellious energy comes through for sure as well. Because you are Earth, you're going to find ways to also navigate the system when necessary. Okay, let's go to my air signs, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. You are really focusing on getting out of the stuff that you don't want to do anymore. So I was talking about old contracts in your life. For some of you, you may just feel like I've done and experienced and learned everything that I need to, yet I'm still connected. Is it because I'm afraid and the fear is attaching me? There's a lot of things that can constitute this chain between the lovers. And it is just a lower version of the lovers, by the way, this card. So we're looking at conditional energy versus unconditional love. We're looking at being forced into something instead of choosing it. So this is a chance to let go of things and look at it from a higher perspective and say, what brings me love and joy? How can I really complete this karmic lesson so I don't feel trapped? What can I do to really open my mind, open my heart, and think beyond limits here and here? Because the devil can simply be a limiting thought. I can't, I won't. And so what you do with this is, why can't I? How will I? Why am I not doing it? Ask yourself the questions and then just decide on a, like, you know, in a moment, in a breath, I will do this. I can do this. I am doing this. Okay. So you have to have a little conversation with yourself and take the fear and doubt, turn it into a question, take the question and turn it into an affirmative. Okay. So I can't, why can't I? I can, I will, I am. You have to do it in that sort of conjugation, in that form. Every language will be different, but you're taking it from a negative to a question to an affirmative. And that's going to be really valuable for you to break through things. There could be a Capricorn coming into your life. And if there's any contracts, really look at them. This is a week to really look at the fine print to make sure that you're not committing to more than you really want to do. Okay? Otherwise, I think you guys have it and you understand what we've been talking about here. So let's go on to water, Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces, exploring the opportunities in front of you. I quite like this card, and it's basically showing you that this is a week to explore, to research, and eventually to decide. It is possible sometimes to sit too much in the questioning energy or the brainstorming energy of the Seven of Cups. So give yourself a day or two to think things through and then really decide, which one am I drawn to? What is it that makes me feel like I want to learn more or that I have to go forward on this? You may have some difficulty this week in concentration. So let go of some of the things that you've committed to do. Make sure that you're not basically pulled in too many different directions at once. And I think those are the main messages there. It is a very expansive card. It's the most expansive card of all the ones that I've pulled. So it feels like, and we see it in the sky here, the sky is the limit. So there we go, folks. We're going to move on now to the special topic. And today's special topic, again, is the winds of change, breathing and opportunity. Again, we might even do a little bit of breath work in the meditation later. But first things first, we're going to select a deck of cards and get started here. We're going to go old school. I'm going to actually do Morgan Greer because I talked about it. And it's also a little bit more traditional Rider-Waite-Smith here. Okay. Deep breath, focusing on opportunities, focusing on what you need to let go of. I put breathing in opportunities, but it was also exhaling doubt. Just couldn't fit it all in the title. Yeah, this is a cool deck from the 1970s, I think. I love the illustrations on it. It was the second, maybe third deck that I purchased. Holds up. This is actually the original version of it. Sometimes I have to repurchase decks, but this one I did not. Morgan Greer is what it's called. I'm like, no more new decks for today. We're going to stick to the oldest ones that I have. All right, let's go to the catalyst card for today. And your catalyst is accelerated motion. And we have what looks like possibly a comet or maybe a meteorite coming through. Something moving quickly, something that you have to pay attention to, or especially if it is like a shooting star, it's here and it's gone. So this week in particular, one of the opportunities is not dragging your feet and knowing that there's almost like this momentum that starts to build up once you've made the initial decision to simply move forward, okay? One thing that my mom and I used to talk about when she was still alive was I would always say, look up, always remember to look up. And it was about like looking up from your phone, looking up from your situation, also looking up at the sky. If it was a beautiful moon or there was a nice planetary alignment, I would send her a text and say, go outside, look up, see what you see. This is important. When you start to look up and look at the opportunities, things open up. Three of Wands energy that we talked about earlier, definitely coming through with this as well. Okay. Let's dig into the center of the deck here and see what's coming through. We have the High Priestess showing you just how powerful your thoughts are right now. And that's one of the things that I've even noticed this past week. You know, I've been trying, there was a couple of days where I wished appointments would be different or something would be a little, just timelines and things like that. And then all of a sudden I would get a call and someone would want to move an appointment, or if I'd be thinking about someone, they would call me. Your thoughts in that way can be very, very connective, but like go bigger. That was what I got from last week. I was like, well, forget about just my schedule. Let's see what I can do on bigger projects and bigger initiatives. The High Priestess can be used for much bigger sort of energy. So this is a time, especially now that everything's balanced out. So equinox gives you both parts of the world for a split second or two have the same amount of light and dark. So you have this ability right now to really be able to see things with an objective viewpoint, as objective as you can get in this body in this lifetime. And that also helps you really connect more powerfully to your intuition, because it's not clouded by all these other things. It's not blinded by the light, or it's not shrouded by all the clouds and the darkness. It's somewhere in the middle. So you have this ability in the middle to get a lot done. So this next week should be a powerful period for that. And we see change for the better, because High Priestess and Tower being connected to all of this sort of, well, we have three power cards for the Hierophant, the Queen of Pentacles, the King of Swords, High Priestess. Like, look at that, folks. The sky is the limit right now, and that's really what that catalyst is bringing through. Crossing, High Priestess energy was Queen of Pentacles. She came through as the beekeeper, right, in our weekly forecast. So what she's also doing is protecting what she's worked hard to create. For those of us here in the Northern Hemisphere, we have autumnal energy coming through with her as well. She has all these sort of like fall vibes with the leaves changing colors here. So she says, I worked really hard to get to this point. I'm not going to let this go. So finish what you've started. I love her crown, which is the sun, the sunflower. She's also going to try to be the leader, not the follower in this. So all of these things are really great. This is a time to focus on your money, on your self-worth, on your self-care. She's the card connected most with the home, for instance, and also with parental energy. So self-care, good environment at home, money. These are important things. She's the stable one in the different queens. If you need a best friend, you want her as your best friend because she will keep it all together. So be your own best friend this week. Make sure you're taking care of those things and you're doing it for your own sort of like well-being and sustenance. Part of that lesson here is in the deep past. We have the Nine of Pentacles. Only thing lacking in this Nine of Pentacles is the garden snail, but it's still very much the Nine of Pentacles that we've come to love and understand here. So this particular card is about taking your time, taking also like joy and care in the moment and really thinking like, all the stuff that she just said, I worked hard to get where I'm at, or I'm not afraid of working hard to get what I want, and doing that. Slow and steady wins the race with the Nine of Pentacles. She's fiercely independent. She can do it all on her own if she needs to, but there may be an opportunity for partnership. We had a lot of the three cards, even the one that originally I thought was Three of Pentacles came through later in another one, but it was Three of Cups. Three of Cups in reverse can also just be you pulling back a little bit from socializing. And if you were to socialize or network and you could find help, that way it might be worth the time and the energy of putting yourself out there, okay? So don't be afraid to put yourself out there. All right, again, we have a lot of synchronicities from what came through. Almost everything from the elemental forecast showed up, right? Hierophant and the 7-day, they're all coming through like the devil, just in different placements here. So many of you are recently moving through this feeling like, I don't want to deal with this gatekeeper. For those of, I think most of us can relate to a point in our life when we moved away from home. One of the things I wanted to do was like, I didn't care where I went, but I just wanted to go to college, not in my hometown. I wanted to go out of state. And then eventually I even like did a postgraduate internship where I went to London for a bit. And then I moved all the way up the coast. I was like, I just needed to get away. You had to fly away from the nest. So there are moments in your life where you just want to fly away and find yourself and get away from this, because it's nice to have organization. It's nice to have structure, but you also need to figure out who are you? What is it that you want? And you can't do it when Empress energy, Hierophant energy, or anything that's really strong is coming through reverse, because it's kind of laying down the law. So like I said, you can't fight the law. Government, taxes, all that stuff, you got to do that. But when it comes to parents, society, and your own sort of like rigid expectations, we're trying to kind of break through them this particular moment, okay? And you don't need to fly away for that to happen. You may just have to have a conversation. And, you know, in retrospect, that would have worked too. But there is something cool by being on your own and proving like, oh, I'm going to have to do my laundry. I'm going to have to get myself up. It's good practice for later in life. And if you can prove that you can do it then you have this sort of feeling of confidence and self-worth. This is the big opportunity. It's breaking things up, breaking things down, breaking through things. So just as death can be movement for the best reasons in a positive trajectory, the Tower can be a breakthrough, like a eureka moment, or what's another word for this? When you kind of have just this sort of intuitive download saying, oh my God, that's why I'm doing this, or that's what I need to do, or that's how it's done. So when that happens, then everything else changes. It can also be a pivotal meeting. So your heart skips a beat and you meet the love of your life. You meet someone, out and randomly just walking, and they have a job opportunity for you. It can be life pulling the rug out from underneath you and offering you something much bigger, okay? It can also be a necessary move that you decide to do. So you don't like where you're living, you don't like where you're working, you're tired of the relationship that you're in, and you decide to make a change before change sort of happens to you, okay? You can take the Tower however you want to. But the one thing with the Tower especially, is change is happening. Death and the Tower, you can't fight them, you can't avoid them, they're happening. And the Tower usually is more imminent than, well, no, death and Tower, they're pretty much the same. They're happening now. So my question to you is, are you ready for the change, possibly the change that you're trying to create? High Priestess and Tower is instantaneous, it's fast. So if you're ready for the change, it's ready to come through. If you're not, it's going to happen anyway. So why not be sort of agent of the change? Okay, surf the wave of change, as I like to say with this. We have the King of Swords coming through. He's upright. This is an empowered version of the King of Swords. Basically, your communication skills really strong. Also loving the autumnal vibes. We actually have two different versions of this. I guess you could say this is spring and this is fall. As I'm looking at it, I saw the wheat and I thought harvest, but we actually see two different versions of the leaves here. So if we look at this from a timeline perspective, the court cards can be 1 or 10. So you could be seeing something happen in the next month or the next 10 months or the next 10 weeks. This can also be a period where it's just important to speak up and create some action. He's cutting through the nonsense. There's another deck that I use where it's actually a night card, but cutting through the clouds. So get to the point, talk about whatever needs to be talked about, talk about the things that people don't want to see or hear, the elephants in the room. And someone a week ago or 2 weeks ago said, I don't understand that phrase. Elephants are big, you can't avoid them. If there's an elephant in the room, it's saying there's something obvious. If there was an elephant in the room, you would see it, but you pretend to ignore it, and meanwhile it's tooting and making noise and, shaking up the room. So that's what the phrase really kind of means. You can't avoid something obvious. Speak up. And also, with the King of Swords, you have a very good chance of getting whatever it is that you need or getting the attention that you need. So it's important to use your communication skills and to take action, because there's something that isn't right or doesn't feel right, or there's someone that isn't kind of holding to what they agreed to do. So very unusual devil card here. We just have the goat. At the center, we do have a scarab beetle as well. Scarabs to me are not, they're not bad. They're actually good. It's death, rebirth. But we need to kind of move through some of the nonsense, some of the manure. That's kind of where that beetle comes from. And there's some things that you're going to have to deal with. So don't be afraid to deal with or address some of the stuff that isn't right and isn't sort of aligned to your higher purpose. This is a time where you can basically, if it was gardening, for instance, it would be going through and tilling that garden and getting rid of all the old stuff and turning it over and making it more fertile ground. You have to speak up, you have to act out, and you have to change this. So this came through, I believe, for the air signs, but now it's coming through for all of us. And it's coming through in self. This is fear, this is shame, this is doubt, this is uncertainty. It's all the things that the devil uses to keep us still. So we're going to educate ourselves and move beyond the fear. We're going to love ourselves and move beyond the shame. We're going to open our minds and our hearts and move beyond all of the societal, parental, and just sort of like environmental stuff that can hold us in place. And so the prayer of St. Francis is a great one. You take one energy and you use the opposite. It doesn't matter what religion you are. Basically, it's an alchemic prayer, where there is doubt, hope, where there is, whatever. Like it goes through all of them, where there is hate, love. It basically, that's what you want to do, is think of the exact opposite and pull that energy in of the negative, bring in the positive, transmute it. And this is what you want to be focusing on right now, is the silver lining and seeing beyond the current feeling. Okay. All right. So looking at maybe I'll pull it up towards the end, but I want to focus on the rest of the reading right now. All right. So we have the Seven of Wands in the environment in the reverse state. Don't be pushed into doing something you don't believe in. Don't push others into doing something that they're not ready for. Don't try to do so much. Delegate. This is a successful card at the end of the day. But when it's reversed, it's someone working harder than they need to, but not working as smart as they should. Work smarter, not harder. And that'll get you quicker to the 8, 9, 10 of Pentacles, 8, 9, or 10 of Wands. And the 8 of Wands, all the rockets in the air. The 9 of Wands, standing up, finishing whatever it is that you're going to do. And the 10 of Wands, completion. So you're very close, but you might be taking on unnecessary burden, unnecessary, just financial burden as well. Like delegate, say no, push back if you need to. All of this is leading here in opportunities and hopes, and sometimes even fears, to this sort of card of accountability. Now, the Emperor is silver-haired. So one thing that is important here is not to wait until retirement or, you're old and gray to do what you want to do. And even if you are in the latter part of your life, it's not, there's, like whenever I pull the Death card, it's never too early, it's never too late to make a change. I like to sometimes recount a silly comment that someone made to me in the 9th grade, like the 9th grade. I was in a school system where it was competitive, and I was taking AP classes, and in a sort of, it was an advanced setting. But I remember this girl in homeroom, and I had a lot of classes with her. She turned around, she said, "I just can't wait until I'm retired because I'm so tired of all this hard work." I'm like, "Girl, you haven't even gotten into the college or the real world. What are you talking about?" Anyway, don't wish away your life. Please, folks, live for the now, live in the moment, and know that you're already an old soul and you've done this a few times. So learn from the experiences of the past and find some joy in the moment. It's a very different read for the Emperor, but that's what came back to me. Ultimately, the Emperor is about taking control, taking the wheel and driving, and knowing that at any age and at any stage of your life, you can embrace this Emperor energy. It's also moving beyond ageism. So again, too young, too old, doesn't matter. This is just like a shirt that I'm wearing. It's not the indication of what's beneath. So there you go. That's kind of what I'm getting with that. Okay, opportunities, they're here. 3 of Wands. So we got a lot of what we pulled earlier today. I love the synchronicities here. What's important with the 3 of Wands? Where are you looking? Are you looking on all directions? So by the way, one of the reasons I loved this deck, and I used to use it when I did personal readings, which I don't do anymore, because it was just like a zoom in on everything. In the traditional one, we see the person way out here. And this particular deck is like they took a zoom lens and got closer. So we see this person looking in one direction, but the ships might be coming in this direction. So it's a reminder about perspective. Do you have the right perspective? Are you remembering to look up? Are you remembering to look in all the directions that are possible? If you limit how something or someone can show up, then you might be missing out on something. Imagine that it's happening now in real time. It could happen faster, just like that. And this is really what the 3 of Wands is presenting. It's a card of travel as well. Again, easier to see in the traditional card. So you may need to go the distance to make something happen, meet someone halfway. This is an auspicious card no matter how you look at it. It's a card that I would love to pull any given day for myself. So this is a great card to end on. Just in this general spread. We have more, folks, don't worry. Just a couple highlights already of what I'm looking at in this spread. So winds of change. Amen to that. We have the Tower in the crowning position. Can't get more connected to change than that. You have the power to make this happen with the High Priestess coming through here. Your power is in your communication. Your power is in your rebellion or your rebellious side. You also have a Midas touch here with the Queen of Pentacles and the 9 of Pentacles. I'm not worried so much about worth or resources, so you shouldn't be either. Even if it's not in the present or the periphery, it's on the horizon. And the main thing here is don't be pushed into something and don't push others. It needs to be unconditional. It needs to be something that's natural. Don't force it. I really feel like the devil is about forcing something that doesn't need or want to be. And the wisdom of your previous lifetimes is let it come to you or meet it halfway, but don't force it. Okay? That's like a quick summary of everything that we just saw. Let's go ahead into the extended forecast where we're going to look at health, wealth, love, and destiny. We're going to get started with the health card which is your mind, your body, and your spirit. And I like to look at this from an energetic perspective. Obviously, if there's anything else going on in your body, you'll work with a professional. Breadcrumbs of bliss. Try to say that 3 times fast. I like this. It's saying that, first of all, we'll read the sub one here. Heed your pleasure principle. All right, someone's a Janet Jackson fan here. So breadcrumbs of bliss. Breadcrumbs, if we think of the old Grimm fairy tale, I think it was kind of like a way to find your way in and out of the forest. Not a necessarily effective way because the birds ate it, but breadcrumbs are also just little tiny things leading you to something bigger. Look around you, look for signs and signals right now. What are the sort of like indicators? More of this, less of that. Also, are you giving yourself a moment to really take a big bite and enjoy, or are you just kind of like feasting on scraps of things? Because this is coming through reminding you that there's a lot more than breadcrumbs as well. Have some fun. Enjoy the moment. This was a wordy card. I would just say life is important. Drink it in and pay attention to the signs and signals. And when something good happens, don't block the blessing and don't rush through something blissful as well. So take that moment and enjoy it. Okay, that's that. Now let's just look at traditional cards and see what else is coming through. A change could do you good. Since we're looking at song lyrics, we'll use a Sheryl Crow one. A change could do you good. The Tower in the crowning position, changing up the environment, whether temporarily or permanently. Like if you're working on something and you work better outside or at a cafe or in the library or something, it can be like that. It can also be renovation, redecorating, moving, cleaning up a untidy space, all of that. So take a look at your environment and clear it if you need to, because this is blocking the downloads that the High Priestess wants to receive. So if there's clutter, she has a hard time focusing. So that's one thing that I'm picking up on. This can be temptation in your life. It's a lot different when we're looking at health. One of the things that I did pick up on in dreams, and I wasn't understanding it, I did see an abundance of alcohol. So for some of you, there could be, we're looking at like self-medicating. It can be anything. So some of us work out too much, some of us drink too much, some of us eat too much, some of us sleep too much. And this is saying don't do extremes, just avoid extremes, everything in moderation. And if there is something that you're using to medicate or mask something, remove it and figure out what it is that you're trying to medicate or mask. Again, this is something where you'd have to work with a professional, but it is about temptations in your life, and each of us have a different temptation. So focus on what it is that you want to try to overcome, and it's already, it can and it will happen here, because this is your near future, this is your outcome, and this is you, and they're all power cards. So it's just a decision. Whenever it comes to improving life, becoming sober, choosing a path where you're healthier and happier, it comes because there's an internal sort of like fuse that changes and you're like, okay, let's do this. So that's one message for some of you. Again, I mentioned that some of you are tired of being in a restrictive space, conservative family, a workplace where there's a glass ceiling, you want to break through it. Fine, it's okay to do that. We see nothing but good cards here on the right-hand side. If you are re-engaging with like physical activity, or you're starting a change, any change, a dietary change, a physical activity change, don't push too far too fast, because your body needs time to adjust. This card can lead to like strained muscles if you're working out and you're doing something overnight. I remember when I first moved to LA, I'd never done a hike, and one of my friends took me on a really challenging hike. There are different trails here that are easy for beginners, but they took me on the hardest version. And I had to sit down and I got dizzy and I needed to get a snack, some trail mix from someone that was on the trail. I'm like, no, I need to go home now. We need to just turn around. This is too hot and too hard. And they weren't thinking about that because they did it all the time. I hike a lot more now and it would be fine, but you have to eat before you hike. You have to bring water and you have to be rested. It's because it's energy that you have to expend, right? So don't push yourself too far, too fast. Remember to look around you. This is an awareness, spatial awareness, but also it's opportunity and avoiding some sort of like, something that could distract you, or you could trip or fall or something. So be spatially aware as well. And that's pretty much it, folks. It's pretty manageable overall. It's mostly the temptation thing that I picked up on in dreams. Okay? Okay, let's move on to your wealth card. And this constitutes resources, life, purpose, career, follow your own rhythm. I think we were just talking about that. So I did actually I knew there's a couple times where I've had people that try to push me too much and it doesn't work. So I like that we kind of see a dancer here following their own sort of energy. But I talked about this earlier in the year when I was still doing some physical therapy for a previous injury. There was someone that pushed me so far in PT that I actually pulled a muscle and I just stopped going to the place. And had I continued doing it, it probably could have been worse. It could have been torn instead of just pulled. And I thought to myself, that was the exact opposite of what I was trying to accomplish there. But thankfully, I could feel my own body's limits. And I said, I need to stop right now. This is too much. They were looking at their phone, as sometimes PT people will do, or more like trainers. Sometimes they get distracted and they're looking at their next client or the next thing or the next set that they want you to do, and they weren't paying attention to me, and that's when the injury happened. So thankfully it was short term, but you got to pay attention to your body. So I mentioned the hike, I mentioned someone trying to push you to get stronger, but sometimes that can be too much. That's why I'm bringing it up again here with the Seven of Wands. Slow, steady, present, and what's the other word that we want to put in there? Basically very deliberate. All of these things are good. Now we're looking at business and money. Same thing holds true there. You push too far and your finances can stretch and break, so you don't want to do that. Let's specifically look at what's going on with different parts of wealth. Well, I have to just say I love that the Queen here is at the center touching everything. So you have a green thumb, better than Midas touch. If you know the myth Midas, that's not something we want to try to repeat. Everything he touched turned to gold, including people that he loved. So instead, we'll just say like a green thumb. You have the ability to create abundance on almost anything that you put your time and energy into. So even if it isn't where you want it, you can take it a lot further this particular week and this, I would say, this next 3-month period as we're looking into the future and the latter part of the year. You deserve to have a voice. You should be speaking up. You should be feeling heard and feeling seen. If you aren't, there are options that are out there. But don't don't cut your nose off to spite your face. Make sure that before you leap forward that you have a safety net. Make sure that if there's something that is wrong or should be changed, that you're doing what you can to address that as well. This is also making sure that you're not overdoing anything, as we talked about a few times today. Some of you may be entrepreneurial right now, deciding I'm going to take that key and open my own doors. I don't need you to be my gatekeeper. And I see good stuff with that, especially these 3 cards. Creativity is running high here with the High Priestess. So we talked about her ability to manifest. She's also super creative. Have you ever wondered why certain artists are prolific? Someone like Taylor Swift can, take a plane ride and have 3 songs when she gets off. She's plugged in. She's intuitive. There are other people that are super esoteric in their writing too, or their paintings or whatever. And it's just because they don't worry. They just keep allowing it to come through. So open yourself up. You have the ability to be prolific during this period and to do more than you normally would. And again, the equinox is helping with that because there's not as much resistance in any direction. So that's what I'm picking up on there. Contracts, nothing less than what you're worth. More than that, if possible. Because we really have an upgrade going from the 9 of Pentacles to the Queen of Pentacles here. So if someone is trying to get you to do more than you should, trying to pay you less, trying to force you into doing something that you don't want to do, say no. And also integrity. That was one of the things in the dreams that bothered me when there was a boss that was having someone kind of like report to them. It was almost like there was someone that was spying. Just remember to lead with integrity as well. And you could say, no, I'm not going to do that. I don't feel comfortable doing that. I don't think you can force me to do that. And again, if you're in a position where someone is trying to make you do something unethical, and which is this example, it's just it may be like wasted energy to even communicate that you're not going to do it. Don't do it. Find a new place. Move beyond that. Say goodbye. Because you don't, You can't reason with the devil. All you can do is move in another direction and show that you're not the right person for this energy to connect with. Because the devil always wants to win. That's one thing when you think of a contract with that energy, it always wins. So let it go. It's not worth it. This is something to cut out, is those sorts of energies. Ultimately, though, like to bring it from El Diablo to something brighter, what we see here is empowerment, opening doors, breaking through glass ceilings, moving through ageism, being able to create something faster than expected. So this is a really good period of time for change. So out with the old, in with the new, and some really new and exciting stuff is availing itself to you at any station of life, at any age of life. All right, I feel like that's everything. But you don't have arbitrary deadlines. Do it when it's right for you. Love. Okay. Ridiculously wordy card. The important thing here is Pathfinder. When you are on a path that feels authentic to you, other people who have done the same sort of wayfinding work internally will meet you. It's kind of like you're out on a hike, you know where you want to go, you've done it a few times, you feel excited about this, and all of a sudden your path crosses with someone else who's done the same thing, who's looking for the same things. That's what I'm actually getting here, is this really cool fork in the road where you're both, this could be something that's fated to be. Release your past and start a new journey. That's what we talked about earlier. You are a teacher and help others find their way. Okay. Some of you may be looking at mentorship opportunities. When it comes to relationships, though, we always learn from our partner, but I much prefer a partner, not a teacher overall, because I don't want a lesson plan in my relationship. I just want someone there we're on the same page. We can support one another, but I don't need to be taught lessons. And I'm sure many of us don't want to teach our partner or change them because it gets into parental energy there. So I would say be careful with that one. There are challenges, but your soul is strong. Perseverance is your secret power. You have a love that endures. And we have a wolf here, which is also about finding your sort of like spiritual pack, if you will. So we'll see what's coming through as we look at the cards. For those that are in a present relationship first, then I'll look at the other relationship types. Change it's happening. Could be the birth of a baby. Could be getting married. Could be moving in. It could just be a physical move for work, because most of the cards are pretty good, except for this one. But let's talk about this one. This can actually be from the past, a fear that something's going to repeat. So if there was an old relationship and someone wasn't honest with you, someone did something that you wish they wouldn't have, there could be a fear that this is going to happen again. Thoughts manifest. If it's a good relationship and there's honesty, then this is something, you're changing this cycle, okay? So don't cling on to that and imagine that that is going to be something that always has to be. The important thing with the Devil card is communication, integrity, honesty, clarity, transparency. None of those things are this card. So if you can emanate those, and if you expect those of those around you, El Diablo will find somebody else. But secrets, that's the main thing in a relationship that will bring it to its knees here. So no secrets this week. Speak the truth. Speak it with kindness and integrity, because this is a nurturing card and this is very forthright. You have to have both. The partner already knows or already senses it. Be the agent of the change and be the source of the information. To pull an old school card, you don't want to hear it through the grapevine. It's an old Marvin Gaye song. So you want to make sure that it comes straight from you. When I'm looking at the two different types of people in present relationships, there is the nurturer and there is the doer. And I think there's a chance to be in between, like to receive rather than just give the energy, and also to slow down for a moment and listen rather than do the talking. So we get a little bit of both with those two cards. All right, let's change to those that are looking for love. It could happen a lot faster than you think. You've been doing a lot of work on yourself. Many of you are self-sufficient. Many of you don't like to be told what to do. And you're actually starting to create some exciting things in your life. If you open your heart and say, I'm ready to receive love and abundance in the highest forms. It could happen quickly with the Tower. It could be inconvenient though, because you've got a lot going on in your life. For new love, make sure that there's no attachments. It could be Capricorn. We can read the Devil as Capricorn. So if it's Capricorn, it's great. It's the Queen of Pentacles energy that's showing up here. But if it's not Capricorn, then what we're getting with this is someone who isn't yet ready to give what you need. It doesn't have to be anything dark or scary. They're just not as available as you would like. Shine a light on that. Make sure that you understand and that you're on the same page. Don't push them into something that they're not ready for. That's the main lesson there. There is something here where it's either an old soul or there could be a little bit of an age gap. I don't see it as problematic at all based on the cards that I see here. If it's just an old soul, then it's someone that has a lot of wisdom and really knows who they are. And that's really great in a partner, isn't it? And these are pretty auspicious. It's a good change. The only thing we have to make sure of, again, if it's not a Capricorn, is just that the person is looking for the same thing as you. Maybe they don't want kids. Maybe they don't want to be married. Maybe they just want to, be exactly in the same energy that they're at right now and take their time. Don't push it. That's the main message here. You have a couple of choices presenting themselves. So if one of the two is resistant, open yourself up to look for the other one. There could possibly be three. We have 3 wands. We have 3 major cards here. So yeah, you have choices. I would say with that, what are you looking for? The more sort of deliberate and clear that you are on what it is that you're seeking in a partnership, the better. And folks, the less that you're focused on trying to create it or find it, the easier it is for that person to find you. Okay. If you're retired, widowed, single, or happy, or just not worrying so much about relationships, good for you. You may be opening yourself up to a big life change. Like I said, moving up, moving out, moving on. You may have just gotten through a breakup or losing someone or doing something major, and you're like, I just want the dust to settle a little bit. So good. It's an adjustment period. Your experience is really being seen by others, and there could be public speaking. There could be writing engagements. There could be opportunities where someone wants you to consult. There's some great energy here where people are seeing all the value. Look at all of these powerful cards here. There's not a negative one in the center. The only thing that is coming through is fear, doubt, uncertainty, or again, clinging on to something that just doesn't serve you. So we all have to deal with our own shadow energy here. But once you overcome that, it's just showing up briefly. All the other cards are bright. Okay, let's look at your destiny card. We have the Divine Physician, Archangel Raphael, coming through. All right, what does Raphael have to say? Thank you for sharing your divine light upon shining your divine light upon my healthy body. So you can make a pivotal, advantageous health change in your life. The choice is to embrace that something, no longer serves you. Once you do that, then you have the wisdom and the wherewithal to make it stick this time. So it's just a decision. I choose health. I choose happiness. And it's an opportunity to spend a little bit more time and energy on yourself. In this given week, we had, Empress, around the first day of the week. So tomorrow is a really great day to be your own divine physician, to call in Archangel Raphael for healing, for instance. Okay? Good. Let's take a moment here to pull one last card here. Big idea. I like to do this whenever we're doing a special topic. And this is asking, what is the winds of change all about today? What is the one thing that I could either focus on changing or do to embrace change to help make it happen faster? Okay, well, we got the 2 biggest change cards that I could possibly pull. Death is change and transformation. The Tower is change, and it's happening. So this in reverse represents stagnation. So is there something in your life where you feel like it's just not moving? You put energy into it, you focus on it, but it's not moving. Because as I mentioned earlier, well, I'm not going to pull it up again, but the death card is riding a knight typically. So this is a time for you to really focus on getting behind the change and making something happen there. If it's a relationship, if it's a job, if it's a part of your life where something hasn't moved, you get to make the action happen this week. And you can't run away from the energy of the Death card. It will keep popping up. So embracing it before it becomes the Tower is the opportunity this particular week and for this particular special topic. Okay? We're also really close to Halloween and Day of the Dead and Samhain and all of that. So we're about a month and a week away from that. So this is a chance. I would say this reading can really take you through to October 31st and November 1st. So you have that amount of time to get behind whatever the change is. You don't have to do it today. Never leave a reading with a sense of fear or urgency. Leave it with empowerment and a decision. I have like 6 to 8 weeks. My readings are always intended for about that amount. And as I'm doing the math in my head, I'm like, that's Halloween. That's November 1st. So this is a chance for you to really release something. And we'll be doing a very special reading. It'll be a live stream on either the 31st or the 1st. Since I wasn't able to do the live stream last year. So I love doing it on that day because the energy is really powerful, just like it is today. Okay, let's prepare for a meditation today, and then we'll take a look at one final card. Before I do any of it, that final card is a chance for you to think about something that you really need advice on. I do my best as I kind of go through this to show you everything that I can, but I'm sure some of you are dealing with something specific to your own life where you just need a little bit more help. So scribble that down, keep it in your head, keep it in your heart, tap it in your phone. I don't care where you put it, but just think about that, and we'll look at that question in just a couple of moments. Before we get into the meditation, a quick reminder, if you're new, hit subscribe so you never miss out on a future video. Hit the like button if you do like this. Let's go ahead and meditate together today. We are going to use some breath because that makes sense, and then we'll look at a final card at the end. Stick around because I feel like this is going to be an important meditation. All right, if you will, please, I'd like you to imagine that you're looking at this particular image, this shooting star, and it's showing you where you need to go. So as you close your eyes, imagine that there's this beautiful, resplendent, starry sky above you. Take a nice deep inhale, breathe in the expansive energy that is the firmament, that is outer space, that is the stars that we're looking at. Just imagine that it goes all the way out beyond any comprehension of the human mind and then continues moving. It's never done. Expansion, infinity. So think of that infinite energy and take a deep breath in. Breathe in a little bit of infinity, if you will. Hold that. Let that swirl through your body. Imagine that just like the solar system, all these stars, all this energy, it's coming into alignment. See any of the dust, the darkness, the shadows, the stuff that you don't need. And on a heavy exhale, let it go. Push it out to the edge of the cosmos. You don't need it anymore. With each breath, breathe in the light of the stars, the light of the moon, the light of the sun. With each exhale, breathe out the dust, the dark, the debris, the devil energy that's been holding you back. Continue to do that and do it with big breaths initially. And the number 7 is coming through. So I want you to do 7 of these on your own. Inhale. On the exhale, again, pushing out the stuff that you don't need, want, or no longer serves you. Good. Continue to do this as I'm playing the singing bowl. With each breath, you can take it down a notch until your breathing comes back to a normal sort of cadence, and the final breath sounds more like this. So go from intense energy and intense breathing to gentle energy and gentle breathing. As you continue to breathe, imagine that you are breathing in starlight, that you are breathing in expansive energy from the universe, that this is going to allow you to create space in your life and to welcome in the opportunities that want to avail themselves to you. start to return to a normal state if it hasn't already. Gently take one last deep breath. On the exhale, open your eyes, put your hands on your heart, really connect with that expansive energy that you called into your mind, body, and spirit. And now please focus on the final question that you have. And let's take a look and see what the universe has in store for that question. All right, we have the King of Wands coming through for this. Again, we are looking at the final card, the final question. As a yes or a no, this is an affirmative. This is a yes. You got so many leadership cards today. King of Swords, King of Wands, High Priestess, Hierophant, Emperor. I mean, that's a lot. And that's not even including all of the stuff that we pulled in the 7-day forecast and the elemental forecast. So this is reminding you to take the lead, take the initiative. And also, this is a much more demonstrative card. So the King of Swords has a way of talking it all through. This particular card is more about showing and emanating and walking that path. So talk the talk and walk the walk the walk, and then also like live it, I should say. So if you're not able to embody that which you're sort of putting out into the world, then don't do it. You got to be able to walk the path, not just talk it. Let me see if there's anything else with this. This is a very, again, very entrepreneurial, very innovative card. So you can think yourself through or out of any situation this particular month. And I think that's it. This week, I keep saying month, but I really do feel like this is a 6 to 8 week forecast as we're looking at the special topic, because of the connection with the Day of the Dead and because we got death when we looked at the big idea. So yes, this week, but also this month. A really great card overall, okay? Last thing with that is, where's the passion in your life? Is it in work? Is it in love? Is it in creative ventures? The High Priestess was your center card. She came through and she wants to make sure you're feeling some passion. This card is doing the same. So where's the passion, okay? Thank you, everybody, for being a part of today's reading. Again, a reminder, a quick like if you haven't done it already, a subscribe if you're new, or if you've been a long-time viewer and you've never done it. It's free. It helps, folks. Thank you in advance. You can also follow me on social media for pertinent reminders of new videos, daily card pulls, news and information, etc. If you'd like to give back, you can do it through a super sticker, super chat, super thanks, and you can also become a member. I'm going to take a moment here in a couple moments to say thanks. I know Dakota's been kind enough today to help out with all of that, so thanks, Dakota, for that. A reminder before I get into any of that, there are some imposters out there on different platforms. Remember, I don't offer private readings. I won't message you asking for money. And if you see anybody that looks suspicious, they probably are. And if you ever really just need to know the official handles, they're all on my website, okay? Typically, not always, but typically I drop videos Monday, Thursday, Friday. Sometimes it's the next day, but it's as close to those days as possible. Live streams every single Sunday, and a daily card reading as well for those of you that want a pulse check on today. All right, so a little bit of thanks and gratitude, and then we'll wrap up for this reading. So first things first, thanks to everybody that showed up today. You make it all possible. You made this amazing, and we still have about 1,000 people here, so thank you. I'd like to give a special shout out to the newest members here, so I'm going to do that right now. And then we'll go into anybody that gave a super sticker or super chat. So for the newest member, it looks like we just have one here, two. So it's E, and is it Jimenez? I hope it is. And then Jamie. Thank you guys for joining today. Good to have you here, and good to have you as a part of this extended family. I saw we had a lot of stickers, so I want to make sure that I try to capture all of those, and then we'll get to closing this up here. So for today, thank you to Georgie, Lucy, Ella, Amitabha, Financially Driven, Rafaela, April, Norma, and Kathy. Let me see if I missed anybody. Paula, welcome to the newest channel member there. Good to have you. Just scrolling up in chat here a little bit to make sure I didn't miss anything. I think I caught everybody. April, thanks for a year and a month of being a member. I'm glad you enjoy it. Thank you, Paula, for 1 year of membership and for your kind notes as well. And let's see if there's anything else. Let's see, my little Margie, or Marie. Yeah, I'm not sure if I said that correct. It looks like Margie. Thank you for being a member for 2 years. That's amazing. Through the pandemic, right? So good to have you here. All right, I think I got all the ones that I can see here for the anniversaries. Everybody else, wishing you lots of love and light. Again, I will see you on during the work week every single day, and then also Monday, Thursday, Friday for the newest videos. I hope you enjoyed this. Keep an eye out for any special events that I might be doing, including celestial things like eclipses, full moons, new moons. I try to do those as well. All right, everyone, have a great day. Take care. Get out and enjoy the world today as well. And remember to breathe. All right, bye-bye.